I want to go across to Pradeep Gupta, who's the chairman and managing director of Access My India, to ask him why is it that he believes.
So as far as Access My India poll predictions goes, our exit poll data suggests these are the highlights. One is that the pro-incumbency in favor of Nitish Kumar for his clean image, good governance, clubbed with central government popularity of, in particular, Prime Minister Modi. And this is something on the ground people witness, and in particular, among the female voters, they voted 5% points more in favor of NDA when it compared to Mahagathbandhan vote. Second is that the youth voter, the elector, in fact, in real sheer numbers, among the age group of 18 to 39, there are about 50% electors, 50% contributes, 18 to 39 years of age. But among 18 to 29, which contributes 24%, Mahagathbandhan is scoring, the difference between Mahagathbandhan is very high, as in NDA is scoring about 30%, and Mahagathbandhan is scoring about 44-46%. But when it comes to age group of 39 plus or 40 plus, where the similar gap is there among the NDA vote, in favor of NDA vote, but in between there is an age group of 30 to 39, which contributes 26% of total vote or the electors. There the NDA is scoring 1 point more. So in a nutshell, the Mahila vote, then the youth vote, and of course when you talk about the Bihar, the caste arithmetic is very important, but in particular Muslim and Yadav votes is solid consolidation is happening in favor of Mahagathbandhan, which contribute together about 32% of the population of the Bihar. These are the key highlights, I think, has come to our mind. And as far as the Prashant Kishor party goes, is likely to secure about 4% vote share. The large number of votes coming from the NDA votes.
Okay.
Had there been no Prashant Kishor in this election, then NDA would have scored much larger number of vote shares, so as the seat shares. But because of Prashant Kishor Suraaj party is likely to secure about 4% vote share, they have somehow equal out the prospect of NDA with LJP this time, unlike other last time, where LJP contests separately and secured 6% vote. So LJP got added to NDA. Mukesh Sahani's VIP splitted from NDA and shifted this time to Mahagathbandhan and carried away about 2% vote share last time they secured. So that 6 added 2 minus 4, and then Prashant Kishor is taking away 2.5 to 3% from the fold of NDA. So in a net, the situation is turning out to be similar to the last time.
Okay, that's very interesting. But you see, I have to ask you this. Conventional wisdom suggests that when women voter turnout goes high, especially in Bihar, as we saw last year, the NDA should canter home, because not only net have more women voted this time, but their proportion is also, as in their vote share is also higher. Their turnout is also higher. So fundamentally, they are 50% in one sense of the electorate, or maybe even more, that voted. So should not that sort of be a massive advantage for the NDA, Pradeep ji?
Yes, definitely. Yes. I mean, that's the decisive factor. If you try and single out, though there are many factors, but if you try and single out the factor among the NDA and Mahagathbandhan prospect, women voter turnout, number one. Number two, the alignment of women, in particular with Nitish Kumar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, this is something is turning out to be decisive.
But Gupta ji, now let me ask you the trick question. Which end of this spectrum are you leaning towards? Are you going to say that the NDA will get about 141 and the India or the MGB will get under 100 as you are predicting, or are you leaning towards something else? Are you saying that it's going to be so tight that the margins will only decide? And also, I want to ask you on this Prashant Kishor factor, since you're saying it's damaging the NDA so much more. Many say that Jan Swaraj, being a first-time party, is being under-assessed because that usually happens. You have no base to compare. So is it being underrepresented in polls? And if they do better, who benefits? Gupta ji.
Okay. If see in our poll as well, the margin error of margin is 2%.
Okay.
So if Prashant Kishor score from 4, what we predicting, to 6, then it will dent the NDA prospect. And if it is 2% for the Prashant Kishor, then NDA is definitely going to cross 160 number of seats.
160. I see. So it's an inverse relationship in one sense. Now, Gupta ji, you're saying that Jan Swaraj is going to hurt the NDA more. So obviously he's not the B team of the BJP as he's being projected to be, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. So two factor. One is how Prashant Kishor does on the ground. That's one. Two, this incremental total 10 percentage point in turnout. 6 is of course on the account of SIR, but this 4% turnout incremental. If among in this 4%, if large chunk is in the age group of 18 to 29, then it will help to Mahagathbandhan.
Well, stay with us.
Otherwise, it will help to NDA.
Okay, stay with us, sir. I just also want to go across to Amitabh Tiwari ji, who's another pollster with Vote Vibe. And Vote Vibe has also come out with some predictions. So let's keep them both on the air. And I want to bring you in, Mr. Amitabh Tiwari. Mr. Tiwari, your poll, I hope Pradeep ji is also there. Your poll is clear in its pro-NDA projection. The Axis My India even is more tight than yours. Why do you think this is an NDA advantage, Mr. Tiwari?
No, I would say even our poll is showing a tighter race in the sense we have a range of 125 to 145. Whereas Axis My India has a range of 121 to 141.
Ji.
So I think Axis My India and Vote Vibe are two polls which have a lower range of in 120s. And this is precisely because of the fact that the election has become very hyper-local, and in the end, the Jan Swaraj party's campaign seems to have fizzled out. So what has happened is that a section of the voters who had moved to Jan Swaraj or who were thinking of voting for Jan Swaraj, largely youth, a section seemed to have come back to Mahagathbandhan, and a section of upper caste voters who were considering voting for Jan Swaraj seem to have made their way back to the NDA. So we now have a position in Bihar wherein perhaps for the first time in many years, the others' vote share is likely to be less than 20% as per our estimates. The top two parties are likely to be around 87% plus minus 3%. And this highlights the bipolarity of the election. And this also signifies why there was a very high turnout, because both the camps have mobilized their voters, and both the supporters of NDA and Mahagathbandhan feel that they are in a chance to win, and they have come out and voted in larger numbers.
So both have been able to mobilize. So what is the overall effect of this higher voter turnout? I mean, I know that it's difficult to read it, but tell me.
See, if you see the higher turnout, the female turnout is higher by around 9%. In 2020 also it was higher by around 6%. However, for the first time in the history of Bihar again, the number of votes cast by women is more than the number of votes cast by men. That is around 4 lakh. That translates into roughly 1800 voters per 1800 votes per assembly seat. So on an average, 1800 women per assembly seat have voted more than men in this assembly election. And if this goes one way, then we can have the exit polls which are predicting 150, 160 plus estimates. And I think this Mahila Rozgar Yojana clearly has emerged as one of the central themes of this election. And this has what perhaps has also motivated more and more women to come out. They have received the benefit of Nitish Kumar schemes over many decades now. And there is also a sympathy for Nitish in his last election, and people want to, or largely the women also may want to send a farewell sort of an election to him, or a gift sort of an election. So that's why we saw the turnout as high.
Now, I know that directionally, of course, all the polls are predicting an NDA victory, and even Chanakya, in fact, which has come out a short while back, that's really at 160 for the NDA. But I want to ask you, since you both of you have basically run a very close and tight race in your predictions, what is the S factor that could upend your calculations? Is it the new party, which is the Jan Swaraj? Is it the youth vote? Mr. Tiwari?
There is a probability that in any survey, a new party can get lesser number of votes. However, we have been tracking Bihar since July, and at one point of time during July, August, the vote share of Jan Swaraj had reached 9.7% levels. So there was, you can say, a peak of almost 10% vote share for Jan Swaraj. What we also not factor in, Rahul, is the fact that a new party also has challenges in communicating its symbol to the voters. The urban voters, youth voters are fine, but in rural areas and middle-aged senior citizen voters or less educated voters, what we also found in our tracker is that 48% of the respondents did not know what the symbol of Jan Swaraj was, and only 35% knew correctly what its symbol was. 16% identified it incorrectly.
Well, viewers, the sense that I'm getting after speaking to these two gentlemen, thank you very much, gentlemen, by the way. Obviously, best of luck for your projections, because it's your neck that's going to be on the line. We'll, of course, have to cop the blame because people will say that you gave them airtime. But nonetheless, viewers, this is not an exact science. But I just want to say one thing. It's the youth voter, viewers, especially the first time and the aspirational voter up till 30, that is beginning to be heard. By 29, they might be decisive. Keep your eye on India's youth, viewers. They hold the keys. And political parties will now have to really pay attention to this group.